Hi everyone. This is Usman, the founder of ORO. So ORO means gold in Spanish. How many of you have bought some gold in the past month? Wow, okay, this is clearly a crypto event, right? Well, I come from a family which has been in the gold industry for almost 100 plus years. My previous backgrounds have been in startups as well as spending almost 7 years in investment banking. I'm joined by a team which has an incredible experience as well from some amazing companies. So gold is one of the stories of the year. I mean, for me, it is the story of the year. And it is back at the center of financial markets. But even the existing financial institutions and traditional gold industry realizes that gold has to evolve. And gold is evolving in moving towards digital gold. But irrespective, none of these existing solutions are really solving the three pain points that have plagued traditional users of the asset for millennia. It's a difficult to access asset. There's very few developed institutional market and retail markets in the world. There's an inherent lack of yield in the asset, except to a select few. And there's generally an inability to borrow against this asset. Introducing ORO. Our aim is to allow anyone with an internet connection to buy, earn, and build on gold. We have two assets. The base asset is gold, very similar to what you would imagine a Pax Gold or a NEXUS U2E to be. One-to-one backed, fully audited, redeemable. And then we have Gold Plus, stake gold, which is essentially a stake version of the asset, earning around 3 to 4% in yield. The idea is this yield is generated off-chain currently, but we will incorporate more programmatic elements of yield going forward. But ultimately, we're not just a tokenized gold issuer. Tokenization is going to be cheaper, and everybody will tokenize everything. But what we are building is the digital gold infrastructure stack. At the heart of the problem is the tokenized issuer, but we're building an access engine which allows any fintech neobank to offer digital gold products easily to the users. At the same time, we are also enabling a tokenization engine, which will allow anybody with physical gold, which is a significant amount being held in vaults, to access the markets that we're building around the asset, whether that's liquidity, whether that's yield, or whether that's credit. We just went live in public beta last night. What's up next is a bunch of integrations over the next 4 to 6 weeks. We have agreements with Facet, Nunu Exchange in Bahrain, Indosat in Indonesia, and a bunch of vault products and DeFi integrations with Solana, where we're starting with, to enable the first use cases of lending and interesting utility around the asset. Thank you.
So curious, you mentioned Paxos Gold. There's a bunch of others who tokenize gold. What would be the specific nuances of this product compared to the others?
I think starting at the issuer level, we're yield bearing, which is something which the other issuers haven't, right? They're, I would say, just custody receipts. Second piece, I think tokenization is going to become cheaper. Everybody's going to do it. I mean, I hear of like 10 other gold tokens being launched. I think who wins is the piping, right? What we've seen is very successful Web2 digital gold businesses. JAR just announced last week, they've made, they're a profitable digital gold company in India. Those models are very good, but very difficult to execute in large parts of the world because those local supplies are not deep enough. Tokenization benefits me because I can tokenize out of key supply centers and distribute via the token. And that's why, for us, like, we're really focusing on the B2B. Think of the B2B angle as bridge for gold, essentially, right? And that's where we win. We're not just winning the tokenization because I think that's the easy bit. I think it's the piping around it.
How do you make money? Because naturally, gold doesn't have sort of yield within. Is the plan to sort of take a spread of that? And I guess two, what's sort of the go-to-market? You talk about, hey, it's difficult to buy gold, it's difficult to borrow against it. In the US, you buy gold ETF for 20 bips. What's sort of the appeal of buying tokenized gold?
So there's few. One is our what I call tokenization margin. We buy gold from the wholesale market, so we get a few dollars, maybe depending on the day. So that's a small thin margin. Then we have the minting redemption fee, which is what's called the transaction fee. Obviously, if you were going to adapt today, it would be a bit cheaper. But if you're accessing by an API, the end fintech could charge 1%, 2%, whatever Revolut charges as well. And then we have the yield product. So we usually get a yield of around 6%. We would pass on 3.5% to 4% to the users, and we would keep the rest ourselves.